and welcome back to my channel. It is so good to be back. I hope everybody had a happy holidays and has enjoyed kissing 2020 goodbye and delving into this new year. With that said, I'm coming at you today with one of my favorite videos to watch, to make, all of the above, and it is talking about my favorite books of 2020. We've got all different sorts of genres. We've got fantasy, we've got contemporary fiction, we've got sci-fi, we've got romance, we've got nonfiction, we've got a whole slew of things this year, which was really great for me. So without further ado, I can't wait to just gush about all of these books. So let's go ahead and get started. So coming in at number 10 is A Day in December by Josie Silver. So this book was recommended to me by my dear friend Amanda, and it is a romance contemporary fiction novel about this girl and her best friend roommate in London. And one day in December, our main character Lori is on the bus, and at a bus stop she sees a man and they have a moment of connection. It seems like they're perfect for each other. They just want to get to know each other better. But unfortunately, the bus moves on. He does not get on the bus, and she goes on wondering what happened to him. So she and her friend kind of decide that they're gonna spend the rest of this year looking for this bus boy, as they call him. And things ensue. A little while passes, and Lori's friend comes to introduce her to her new boyfriend, and Lori's friend's new boyfriend is busboy. So drama ensues, but I love it so much. It follows these girls and just their lives. It follows what it feels like to graduate school, what it feels like to get a new job, what it feels like for you to change friends, and for family to move in and out of importance in your life, and for friendship to move in and out of importance in your life. It follows what it's like to be in a relationship, to be married, to all these different things as you also just grow on your own, in your own life. So it's a lovely book. I was a little bit hesitant because I'm normally not a huge romance person, but I was like crying, and it was like the whole 9 yards. All I wanted was Lori's happiness, and I just really loved them. So yeah, this came in at number 10 for me this year. Truly enjoyed it. Plus, it's perfect for the wintertime. It gives me like Love Actually and the holiday vibes. Just really cute romance if anybody wants a wintry, cool UK romance. Coming in at number 10, I do not have the book physically with me because I lent it to my sister, but this book is If Our Bodies Could Talk. I've mentioned it before. It is a nonfiction book designed towards answering all of the random questions that we have about our bodies. It was written by a man who is a doctor and a journalist for The Atlantic, and it basically, over the years of being a doctor and focusing on the medical practice, he had many questions that people would ask him, just random stuff like, why do we get itches? Or like, why is some hair curly and why is some hair straight? Random stuff like that. And he just goes through in this book and has all these small little excerpts answering all these random little questions that people could possibly have. I personally loved it. I found it super interesting, a super easy read. He's funny. He has a really good voice in his writing, so it's very easy to get through. And if you're somebody who likes a sort of like science-y medical talk that isn't too jargony, that just kind of tells you a little bit about your body and your life, it's actually really interesting. So that was number 9 for me this year. Coming in at number 9 for me this year was Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. So this book is incredible. It gave me Harry Potter vibes right off the bat, a sort of, you know, young chosen one destined to help save the world and save magic in the world. This story is sort of based off of African culture and a lot of the cultures and traditions of Africa. It is beautiful. This also, Tomi Adeyemi tackles throughout the entire book a lot of discussion on what it feels like to be oppressed and to be of a certain race or culture that is systematically oppressed by the government. In this book, everybody with magic is basically being killed off, and people tell them that they don't deserve to live. So, just because of the way that they're born. So she actually has a little afterword that she talks about later on about how the reason that she wrote these books, or the one of the things that she wanted to make sure that she put across in these books, was that discussion of what it feels like to be systematically chosen as not worthy and not good enough to survive and to live. So it's got that sort of heavy undertone to it, but it also has high action. The characters are lovable. It's got sort of like trials and quests and lots of like, love the magic system. It is so visual and great. So if you're looking for sort of a YA fantasy magic school, magic discovery trials sort of a book, it is really, really great. Coming in at number 9 for my top 10 books this year is Becoming by Michelle Obama. I listened to this on audiobook, and I sat up at the end just in my bed doing literally nothing except for reading this book and sobbing my eyes out. I absolutely loved it. Michelle Obama reads the audiobook herself, and it is so beautiful, you guys. It is just so gorgeous. She talks about her life, everything from growing up in Southside Chicago to her becoming a lawyer, to her education, her relationships with her family, her relationships with Barack, everything. And then she talks about what it's like, or what it was like, to be welcomed into the White House as the First Lady. Actually, I really, really loved it because it wasn't too political. It wasn't too focused on Barack and his policy and his politics. It was focused more on what it is like to be married to someone like that, what it is like for her to have her own ambitions and her priorities and goals in life. So I would just recommend that everybody read it, honestly. It's just so beautiful. It gave me so much comfort that, you know, even if you don't know what's going on in your life and what path you're supposed to go on, like, things will work out. There are people that have been there before. Look to your mentors and things like that. So if you're looking for a really great memoir to read, I would absolutely recommend Becoming. Again, it was my number 7 this year. Coming in at number 6 for me this year was Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. I read this book earlier this year. It was kind of one of the first books that I ended up reading this year, and I loved it. I thought it was so great. This is an adult fantasy book set at Yale, and it follows along with our main character Alex, who sort of gets inducted into one of the secret societies of Yale that is in charge of monitoring all the other secret societies at Yale. And these secret societies perform magic, and they all have different specialties of magic. And it just so happens that the one that she ends up in is one that is, like I said, responsible for sort of overseeing all of the activities and making sure that everybody else is following the rules of magic and of the university. So with that, she gets pulled into all different sorts of paranormal events. There is a murder that happens on campus that she is trying to discover what happened. There is a mystery there, and she is trying to discover why this girl was murdered. And just to put a twist on it, she can see ghosts. So it is a super interesting book. It's fast-paced. You get that sort of New England, Yale, dark academia vibe from it, absolutely all the way. I would 100% recommend this for anybody that's looking for a little bit of like an adult fantasy, paranormal, like I said, dark academia kind of a novel. So really, really great. Ended up being my number 6 this year. All right, coming in at number 5 this year is Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. This is one of the most atmospheric books I have ever read. Like, atmosphere on atmosphere, everything feels like a dream. It's gorgeous. The writing is just beautiful, flowery without being over the top. The magic system is beautiful. It is an adult fantasy novel about 2 magicians who are pitted against each other in this sort of magical competition, but neither of them knows who they're competing against. and neither of them knows what the competition is supposed to be or even how to win. All they know is that for some reason they've been signed up to do this competition and one of them has to win. And they don't even know what that means, what it means to win. How do you win? They don't know. So you follow along with them as they incorporate their magic into this circus, this magical circus that just appears at night and vanishes the next day. Everything is so magical about it. I don't want to say too much because so much of Erin Morgenstern's writing is just in the discovery of the world and the discovery of the characters and the discovery of the mystery. It's just beautiful. I love Erin Morgenstern. This whole Booktube channel is just going to be an Erin Morgenstern's like fan account, I swear to God. I just love her writing, and Night Circus is no exception. I know that it is a popular book, but I would 100% say that it's absolutely worth it. So coming in at number 4 this year is Shadow of the Wind by Carlos Ruiz Zafón. So Shadow of the Wind is an adult mystery slash fiction novel. It kind of walks a line among sort of like magical realism to mystery to historical fiction kind of a novel, but basically we follow our main character Daniel, who is a young boy in Barcelona whose father brings him to this secret library of books and tells him that he can choose one book that he will be responsible for taking care of, making sure that nothing happens to it, and learning as much as he possibly can about the author of said book. He discovers this one book that he absolutely loves, wants to read all of the things that have ever been written by this author, and he finds out that slowly and incrementally somebody is burning all of this author's books. And this author is incredible, beautiful, amazing. The manuscripts are wonderful. And for some reason, there is someone who is systematically trying to destroy all of them. So we follow Daniel as he tries to kind of discover who this author is, who's trying to destroy their books. There is so much mystery, so much emotion in this book. It is beautifully written. It's one of those books that I still think about it. I'll just be hanging out and I'll just be like, oh, wow, Danielle, what an amazing character. And all of these other characters in this book. It is beautiful, it's lovely. There is a little bit of like family drama, lots of intrigue and mystery surrounding this world and these people in Barcelona during this time. It's just a really, really gorgeous read. If you're looking for something that, again, is very atmospheric, I would highly, highly recommend this one. All right, we're narrowing it down, everybody. We are now in the top 3. And I'm gonna cheat a little bit with a few of these because 2 of these last top 3 are actually series. So coming in at number 3 this year of best books of 2020 is, not surprisingly, the Six of Crows duology. I was a little bit late to the game in reading these guides. They have been out for quite some time, but I am so happy I decided to pick them up. I am obsessed with these characters. I think about them almost every day, honestly, just wondering like, oh, what is Nina up to? Oh, what is everybody up to? What is Inej doing recently? Like, I just want to know their stories. I just want them to be my friends. I want to follow them forever. They're incredible. This is a YA fantasy story about a group of 6 people, 6 of crows, and it is a heist fantasy. So at the center, especially of the first book, we have this sort of impossible heist that they have to accomplish, and we follow along this sort of ragtag team of grungy, kind of gang-focused, gang-centered teenagers as they try and perform this incredible heist. Each one of them has their own background, their own emotions, their own personalities. They're just such strong personalities for all of them, and I just love them all. I thought that the ending of the duology was incredible. This is one of those series where I would follow it to the ends of the earth. I would just keep reading because all of them are wonderful. If you know this series, I am obsessed with Wylan. I think he is the cutest, sweetest, kindest, wittiest character ever. I absolutely adore him. And then, I mean, Jesper. How could you not? How could you not just love him? And Nina is such a badass. I freaking love her. So anyway, this is just, I'm very passionate about this duology. It was so much fun to read. It was quick paced, high action with a good combination of romance, action, drama, intrigue, pain, sorrow, sadness, everything. Honestly, everything. Read it. I know people talk about it all the time, but it's good. You should read it. And the second best book that I read in 2020, coming in at number 2, is so excited, The Starless Sea, again by Erin Morgenstern. I said this is just a stan account now for her. It is true. But The Starless Sea, I want to get a tattoo about this book. I want to put quotes up from this book on my wall. I want to reread this book and like deeply annotate it because there are so many quotable, beautiful lines, so many like, there's just so many ways that you can look into this book. Some people do criticize it and say that it can be slightly confusing. I would just say give it time, just approach it slowly because it is gorgeous and genius, and she just, it's just wonderful. This is an adult fantasy story about this man named Zachary, and when he is a child, he has an experience where he thinks that he can see a door in a wall, and it looks like a painted door just in an alleyway, and he wants to open that door, but he doesn't. Later on in life, he's in grad school, and he reads this book from the library. This book has no title. He can't figure out who it's written by. For this book, there is no record of it in the library. So he takes it home and he starts reading. And one of the stories that he reads is that experience that he had as a child, not opening that door. And it just goes on from there. He gets swept into this sort of secret world, this underground, starless sea, all about literature and stories and books and fate and magic and writing your own story, and it just plays around with the themes of fate and destiny in such a beautiful way. It's just, if there's any book that I want anybody to take away from for this year to read, I want you to read this one or the next one I'm going to talk about, because these top 2 are not just the top 2 of this year for me. This book is probably one of my favorite books that I have ever read in my life. It is so, so, so good. Please pick it up. Please, please, please. All right, everyone. And finally, the number 1 book trilogy that I read this year, the Broken Earth trilogy by N.K. Jemisin. N.K. Jemisin is an author that is just, she's just genius. She can write in such a way that gives you just enough information for you to follow along, be interested, be intrigued in the characters, but she just lets you know just enough. Literally, as I was reading it, I was like, this is ingenious, because every second of the way I want to know more about this mystery. I want to know more about what you're talking about. And she just sprinkles in all of the things that you need to know, but never giving you too much. She never just hands it to you. It's fantastic. This is an adult fantasy series about this world called the Stillness. And in this world, there is some sort of seismic catastrophe that happens about every 1,000 years or so. And this catastrophe could be a tsunami, it could be some sort of tectonic plate movement that causes a horrible earthquake or a horrible rift in the shell of the earth or anything like that. And there are these people in this world that are called origines. And these origines can control Earth, can control particles and matter of the earth, like stone and dirt and things like that. Basically, think like Avatar, Last Airbender, like earthbenders, right? But this book series encompasses so many beautiful themes of motherhood, childhood, feminism, womanhood in general, what it means to love someone, what it means to love someone and be very strong within yourself at the same time. It is so beautiful. Just thinking about this, I just want to read them again. I am obsessed with Essen. I love her. I love her so, so, so much. If you've read it, she is just incredible. That character, she is so multifaceted. She has so many different parts of herself. The story is just beautiful. I can't not think of it. I still think back to when I was reading it, and I wish I could read it again for the first time. I wish that I could read the last book, The Stone Sky, again for the first time, because this just made it. N.K. Jemisin's a genius. She's just an absolute genius. So if you're looking for a fantasy series that's gonna pull you in, it's gonna hold your attention, it is high action, high intrigue, high emotion, it has strong female characters. Many of the characters in this book actually, so it is a little bit interesting because it's written as a different world, but the majority of the characters in this book are people of color. They are not just like your normal like white people. And so she talks about skin tone and race and hair type and like kinky hair versus froey hair versus frizzy hair and all of these different sorts of things. And it just makes it so beautiful. N.K. Jemisin is just, I just can't. She's just so good, you guys. I'm hoping to read more of her books next year. I know she has written many, and I can't wait to delve into them. But honestly, Broken Earth trilogy, incredible. I just, so good. Chef's Kiss, my top books of 2020. And with that, you guys, those are my top books of 2020. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoyed your reading this year. Let me know in the comments down below what was your #1 book that you read this last year. It doesn't have to be published this last year. Just what did you read that was your #1? Again, thank you so much for being here. What a crazy year we have all had. I am sure. I know. And I just can't wait to kiss it goodbye and see what 2021 brings us. You will be seeing some videos coming from me soon all about my plans for 2021 in my reading, my stats for 2020 in reading, and a few final wrap-up videos of 2020, which I can't wait to share with you guys. So, until the next video, Happy New Year, everybody, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye!